Hello and welcome. So this morning I want to tell you about a couple of concealer tips that I have. I have 5 tips to just help you make it just a little bit easier. Tip number 1 with your concealer is to choose the correct shade. So it's really important that if you're using the concealer up under the eyes, is to choose a shade that is 1 to 2 shades lighter than your skin color or your base that you've been using. So we're going to use one that's a little bit lighter, but if you're going to use the concealer to cover up a blemish, say this little spot that I have here, you need to use a concealer that is the same. So you need to color match that so it doesn't stand out. Tip number 2 is to ensure that the skin is hydrated. So I'd make sure you use a moisturizer or an eye cream up under here so that it is nice and hydrated and not dry, because if it's dry, the concealer is just going to stick and cling to that area. Just going to place a little bit of eye cream just underneath and really pat it in with my ring finger because it's a nice soft finger, and just hydrate that area just a little bit more. This way it's going to be really nourishing and the concealer is not going to just sit on the skin. Tip number 3 is less is best, okay? So using a small amount. I'm going to use one of the NARS concealers, and I always like to use a small amount here and a small amount through here. And then I will use a little brush or even a finger or a beauty blender to blend that out. And this way it is just a small amount. And if you need more, you can actually build it up. Tip number 4, which I pretty much said before, is to make sure you blend this out. So I'm just using my ring finger to show you that you don't need to use a brush if you don't want to. And I'm just really gently patting that in because I want the most to go there. But in the center of the eye, this is where it kind of creases and where the wrinkles are. So I don't want to have too much there. And then I'm just going to blend it out on the outer corner here. And as you can see, that creates that nice little bit of lift. And I will go in with a beauty blender, but at the minute, I'm just pressing that in with my finger. Taking this little blender here and just really making sure it's well blended and just seamless into the rest of your makeup. Beauty blender and just finishing that off. And also what I've done in another video is, you can just use your foundation as well underneath. You don't have to use concealer. If you don't have very dark circles, you can get away with just using foundation. If you do find that you are quite dark underneath the eye, you need to color correct. NARS have some really great color correctors. This is like a real salmon tint. I'm not sure if the camera's picking that up. And that will really help to sort of correct that darkness. But once again, just less is best. Don't overdo it. Last but not least, tip number 5 is to set it. So I know we sort of shy away from placing powders under the eyes because we think it's going to sit in our creases. So really important that you use a good translucent powder. Laura Mercier has a great translucent. There's so many out there. I'm using the Youngblood, and this one is their clear, so completely translucent. They do have it in a tint as well. I'm just using one of the fan brushes because I don't want too much. I just want to really set that area very briefly and make sure that it's not going to sit anywhere in any lines. But those are my concealer tips. I'll also show you how I conceal the one on my nose. So like I said previously, just use a concealer that's a similar shade to your skin tone. So rather than drawing attention to it, we are actually making it sort of just disappear. Let me know if those little tips helped you, and also let me know if there's any other makeup questions you have, anything that you'd like me to talk about, or any products you'd like me to try. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Let me know if those little tips helped you, and also let me know if there's any other makeup questions you have, anything that you'd like me to talk about, or any products you'd like me to try. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it.